Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So, as you know, today is Tuesday, which means Type 2 or Standard Tuesday, and we have a pretty sweet aggressive list to check out today. This is Red White Equipment. Recently took a Magic League user by the name of Alex Pistols to a top 4 finish in a Magic League event, so congrats to Alex on their finish with the deck. A quick reminder before we break it all down, if you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Red White Equipment is built around two really powerful 2-drops. We have 4 copies of Stonehaven Outfitter and 4 Weapons Trainer. These are creatures that really care about equipment in one way or another. Stonehaven Outfitter pumps up any equipped creatures that you have, so it kind of wants us to play a lot of equipment, and then whenever an equipped creature dies, be it in combat or to a removal spell, we get to draw an extra card, so it keeps us kind of churning through our deck to find more creatures to equip up to get the +1/+1. Weapons Trainer is a 3/2 for only 2 mana, plus as long as we control an equipment, our other creatures get +1/+0. We are going to get as many of these on the battlefield as possible, along with a bunch of equipment, and then take advantage of some really powerful early game plays, and kind of try to aggro our opponent out of the game before they get a chance to recover. So as far as equipment, we have 12 in all. 4 Stitcher's Graph is a really interesting one. It is super cheap. 1 to cast, 2 to equip, and it gives the creature +3/+3, so it makes the creature a super huge threat. However, it has a bit of a drawback. Whenever the creature that's equipped attacks, it doesn't untap the next turn, and if it becomes unequipped or unattached from a permanent, you gotta sacrifice it. So it gets in huge hits, but a little bit risky. If something happens, you can't really move it over to another creature, you can't attack the next turn with the creature, but it can get in a huge hit of damage. Captain's Clause doesn't give a huge benefit, although all of these trigger our Stonehaven Outfitter, our Weapons Trainer, which makes them even better than their printed stats. Only gives +1/+0, but whenever the equipped creature attacks, you get a 1/1, so you kind of create more creatures, which will get pumped up by your Weapons Trainer. Also, these tokens can then be equipped in the future, and if you're making these extra tokens, those are probably fine targets to unequip and equip Stitcher's Graph to, even if you gotta sacrifice them because they're just 1/1s. And then Inventor's Goggles gives +1/+2. However, you get to equip it for free when an Artificer enters the battlefield, and the deck has a bunch of Artificers, so it just so happens that both of the deck's 1-drops are Artificers, Toolcraft Exemplar, and Inventor's Apprentice, so these cards are really powerful on their own. We see them in like red-white vehicles, just because being a 3/2 attacker, or a 2/3 in the case of Inventor's Apprentice, is good enough, but in this deck, they can be even more insane. If you cast them after Inventor's Goggles, you get the free equip, which makes them even more threatening, and they're getting benefits from Stonehaven Outfitters and your other equipment. You can realistically have these up to 7, 8 power, and that's a really huge threat on turn 3 or turn 4 that can kind of attack through anything in the format. Selfless Spirit protects everything. It's a flying threat, so we can wear an equipment, get in some damage with our Stitcher's Graph or whatever, but it's mostly there to make sure that we don't scoop to a Wrath. We can make our stuff survive combat. Does a lot of great things for the deck. And then the rest of the main deck cards, we have the combo of Handwear Garrison, another creature that makes multiple tokens to wear the equipment and get pumped up by all our other effects, and Handwear Battlements, so we can randomly just flip around into this huge Eldrazi if the conditions are right. And then for removal, we have 4 Declarations in Stone. As far as the mana base, we have some red-white duels, including Needle Spires, which is pretty threatening with equipment on it, since it has double strike, some plains, some mountains, and a couple of Westfield Abbeys to keep the deck making threats. When things go wrong, you always have an option to get a creature on the battlefield. Plus, with Handwear Garrison and Captain's Clause and some of our other token generating effects, it's possible that we can actually have enough creatures to flip it around. In the sideboard, Stasis Snare and Fragmentize give the deck more removal for very specific situations. Stasis Snare, answer to Emrakul, Ulamog, stuff like that. Fragmentize for Smuggler's Copter. Key to the City helps us get through a lot of damage if the board is clogged up. Always Watching is another sweet combo with Stitcher's Craft because it gives the creatures vigilance, so you're not going to have to worry about the pesky doesn't untap clause on Stitcher's Craft. Also just pumps up the team. And then, last but not least, Make a Stand, another Wrath Hoser, gives all of our creatures indestructible, also +1/+0. So if opponents are bringing in Radiant Flames or Planar Outburst or anything like that, this is a great option. Also can just be good in combat as well, kind of like a backup Selfless Spirit. And that is red-white equipment for Standard, and that's been our Instant Deck Tech for today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.